Hi, welcome back to our Let's Play tutorial, Warplan Pacific, where the Allies, it's February 1st, 1942, and we're about ready to click over and go to February 15th, 1942. I'm Pacific Carrier Guy, and we're going to find out what the Japanese, where their onslaught will turn next. They've taken Malaya, they've taken the Philippines. They're having a little bit of difficulty in the Dutch East Indies, but it should fall soon. They've taken Rangoon and the Burma Road, and so we got to find out what we can do to slow them down. That's the main thing, just slow them down. Where there's really the Japanese have such a overwhelming uh, superiority in numbers at the beginning of the war that there's really little we can do. Now, I know now you might notice they left Rangoon open. I'm sure they'll move somebody in there to block me from taking it. The AI is not, it's definitely not no human player, but I haven't seen the AI make any, oh my goodness, that's just, you know, should have never done that. Moves, at least I haven't seen it yet. Uh, I have an AAR, that's a after action report. I'm going to eventually post to the Matrix forums where I am playing the Japanese. Same scenario, I'm just playing the Japanese. And what I find is the Japanese have a lot of organizational movements they have to make. They have a lot of uh, moving of units to get them in the right spot. Um, this up here, I don't know what to call it. I call it the Soviet Border Army. In reality, Japan was very scared of the Soviet Army. And there they go. And with the taking Batavia, that means the Dutch East Indies will fall. Maoyu, that is Yunnan, the city Yunnan, can usually hold that. These mountains, they really kill supply, and especially with bad weather because you can see it snow. So what happens is, like this is a clear, like let's say this is a supply source. Let's say it's a well. We'll have to wait till we stop moving. I've found a little bit more about supply and how supply works, and if he's not going to protect Rangoon, I'm going to be really surprised. I'll move that unit back in there, but I find it that will be one I'll have to post to say, hey, I don't know what happened, but the AI, that's a major mistake. It is possible if you wanted to, you could play hot seat where you would play the Allies and you would play the Japanese. One of the nice things about this game is there is a level of fog of war. You don't know, like right here, he's got units. I don't know where they are. I don't know where his fleet is at. So his fleet could be right here for all I know. And that fog of war and that not knowing is really major. And I'm wondering what is he up to? When you're looking at land combat, land movement, terrain is major, obviously. All right. We can see Dutch East Indies is surrendered. The Dutch East Indies Air Force was overrun. Now, normally when an Air Force unit is overrun, it goes back into your deployment quay, your deployment queue, so you can deploy it later on. But with Dutch out, they're done. And everybody's got low oil. So USA has low oil. UK's got low oil. This unit's out of supply. All right, let's turn this on. We're going to talk about supply for a minute. This is a supply source, level 9. Okay, and for its movement cost. So it costs so much movement to get to here that it costs 4 movement points basically. So 9 minus 4 is 5, and another minus 4 is 1. So you can see that we get out here and we just don't have nothing. And the same thing for this. It's movement cost. That's why he can supply range of 5. He increases it by +1, but it's so much movement cost that it's just not happening. So we're going to have to retreat some of these guys, and they're just not getting the kind of supplies they need. So we're going to retreat them back a little bit. One is like real, it's just like basics. You're getting barely enough to do anything. And you see all these out here. One, he did not move. We're going to move in and take Rangoon. It's a pretty strong unit. 98% effectiveness, good strength. It's a whole core. We'll move it here. Gotta move him down here, move him down here. And I want to make a note. In fact, we'll do that right here. Took Rangoon and broke the Burma Road. Then just retreated. Not sure what happened there. And it might be too that, you know what, his units have low effectiveness, low supply. I don't know if there's a headquarters unit in here. He may have moved his headquarters unit in here. I don't know what happened there. We're going to take advantage of it though. Turn supply back off. It's nice to have on to see and look, and he's got the Dutch East Indies, he's got the Philippines. Let's see, what can we do? We're going to hold these guys right here. We've got these guys holding. We're looking good right here. We got a little bit of a bulge going right here. And I'm not real positive what I can do about it. It's winter, number one. You can see it's winter. What we can do is you get some of these smaller units off the front lines. See, like this guy, I like to get him back. His effectiveness is not too bad, really, for a Chinese unit. For 51% is bad. It's really bad. Effectiveness is not good. But for a Chinese unit, that ain't bad. This is more what you want. See, there's a 63, 75. Even this guy's got a 73. See, movement cost, if I remember right, 8. And you see, he's going into hills, he's going into snow, so it's going to cost 6 movement points. Now he can always move one, and that's why he's got 5, and he can move there because they can always move one. But they're just it's not worth it, I don't think. What's he in here? He's in forest and snow. Hills is better defensively, so we're going to go ahead and move him up. It does cost C. He went down. He's 5170. I'm going to move this guy back and just let him build up that effectiveness. And that's kind of what you do want to do with the Chinese. Just get into real good defensive positions and let them build up. That guy, we got to let him just wear down. Okay, let's go look here. What do we got going on here? You see, he's got still lots of, and I don't want to move him any closer. You move him any closer, and he could get in trouble because I'm going to have to go to talk about that. In fact, we might talk about it here in a minute. How do you operate submarines? How do they work? I notice he's got a sub here. Now, land-based air can always strike at submarines. Didn't do anything, but he's a naval air. Let's see if he can do something. Still no, but at least we're not losing any losses. We are though. We're using oil, and our effectiveness goes down. I really don't like him right there. Now this guy cannot go attack him because I don't think he can. Nope, can't occupy the same X, so he's not gonna be able to attack because he's either got to be next to a if he was here we could attack him because he's right next to a beach X. Or if he was right next to one of these land, we could attack him. So right where he's at, the only way we can attack him, he's on this convoy route. Our escorts could attack him. If our CVs were on the same route, they could attack him. But where he is, there's nothing we can do. Well, let's see what else we got here. Unit has no supply source. Yeah, see, he's cut off. But see, we still got to turn with the supply. I want to keep him there because I want to keep this guy out of supply. See, this is Japan. This is what Japan controls. We've got this guy. We've got him cut off. Unit has no supply. Unit has no supply. But he moved into there. Hopefully he'll have supply. Parson. Well, see, there's not a whole lot you can do as the U.S. until you get some transports. The British have the battleship Ramillies, and it should deploy right down here. It does. And the great thing about it, it can be immediately moved. So we're going to immediately move it. put it up here with the rest of the British, or get it close to where it'll be close to the next to the going to the rest of the British fleet. The UK, we got a new bomber group. 21st. Right there. You'll notice this. This is what you do is you move your ship here, and it takes one turn. See, make sure we ain't got anything else. It's called a loop, a naval loop. You move it here, and one turn later, it shows up right here. I notice it's got an India loop. There's an Australia loop right there. Once he gets up in there, we might move these guys. I find them useless here in the Indian Ocean. If Kido Butai, that's what the Japanese call their main aircraft carrier striking force. If it comes in here, this is nothing but a speed bump. Might as well go on ahead and get it over to Australia where it can be useful. Well, I'm gonna. Boy, it's got 10 ships and fighter aircraft. That's what scares me. Now he see if this was in his range, this fighter aircraft would come down here and try to get me, but it's not range, and we just cannot hit his submarines. That's a shame. Well, let's talk about submarines. Let's first look at this guy. We're gonna move him. Put him outside a truck here. Let these guys try to interdict somebody. I want them to watch. Make sure there ain't no fleets coming. Okay, submarines. First off, as I said, now submarines, to give you an idea, okay, service value right now is 1. The normal number, that should be 7. American submarines start the war off. Their torpedoes are so bad. It was really a complete disaster. There's records of submarines shooting 6, 8, 10 torpedoes at a target, and none of them they'd either run wild, ran too deep, or they'd hit the target point blank and just not explode. So right now these guys they're worth little more than uh, pickets, ships that give us a warning when someone's coming. Now, ideally, we want to be able to do what the Japanese are doing with them: put them on a convoy route, let them raid and sink merchantmen and stuff like that, and eventually, about 43, 44, these submarines will be able to do that. Submarines that cannot be attacked like no. If this was like a cruiser, I could bring this cruiser out here and attack, and I could do a lot of different things. But the way submarines are run, there's very little you can do to attack them. If they are in an ocean hex, which is this dark blue, all these ocean hexes, they can only be attacked by land-based air units, which is what we did to this guy. If they are next to a hex with land, then they're fair game to surface units or CVs. Even a CV, if this guy, if I pulled in my aircraft carriers right here, I could not attack him. Attack him. If you're in ocean, can't happen. He's got to be next to land, 1 hex away. This is considered a beach hex. It's got a little bit of land in it. If he's right here, if this submarine was right here, this surface unit could come up here and attack him. My CVs could bomb him. Uh, he's fair game. Other than that, escorts or when I placed my CVs or my destroyers over here on this convoy route, they can aid the escorts in attacking him. That's all. That's all there is. That's the only things that can attack him. See what this should be. Canberra and the Houston. Canberra's still trying to get repaired. The Australia just doesn't have enough production. Well, who's this in? Ramillies, Repulse, Cornwall, major parts of the fleet. That's awesome. I got them over here. Hopefully, what I want to eventually be able to do is move them in here and just steamroll right on up. But first, we got to be able to get some land units. We can't get land units there till we have transports. And we don't get transports till March. March and April. March and April. And it's not a lot of movement, but that's it. You see, the UK is using good oil. We're going to need it because we're getting low. Everything's going towards upkeep. United States, we're getting a little bit more room, but we still are spending a lot towards upkeep. Our oil's stockpiles growing. Soviet Union, Communist China, everything's going towards upkeep. Australia, everything's going towards upkeep. And slowly building our oil. India, again, slowly building our oil. No, this is Canada. I got to figure out how to get that oil out of there. I'm not sure there's a way, but if we can get oil out of Canada, that'd be nice. Communist China, India, see, just barely, but we got a great stockpile. Using everything for upkeep. New Zealand, building up. That's it. Let's go to next turn. See what Japan has in store for us. March 4th, March 1st. As the Allies just have to hold off the Japan, hold them off. It's really honestly, the entire Pacific War is a kind of a war of attrition until late in the war when the Allies have just overwhelming numbers. And you just want to hold off the Japanese as long as you can. It's advantageous that I'm playing the AI. It can't make some of the moves that it might otherwise a human player might make. See, for instance, I don't think a human player would ever withdrawn from there. He'd never withdrawn from Rangoon. I know I wouldn't have. Especially when you consider that just allows me to pump more production into to convoy more stuff to China. And if China falls, I think if China fell, the Allied player might be in some deep trouble. First off, there's quite a bit of extra production here. Uh, and then all these units. One thing Japan has trouble with is you have all these places that an Allied unit can invade, and there's just not enough units to go around, and you don't really have production to build any. So, so as Japan, you just kind of have to pick what you want to protect. And here he's attacking, but he's not getting anywhere. He's attacking here, not getting anywhere. And our Indian units are just so weak. And you see, is it rain? It's rain. That helps us. And here it's jungle, and that helps us. That did not help us. I look like that unit may have shattered. That is not good. I'm going to draw him down to here, move him up to there, draw him over on this other side of this river. In fact, I'm wondering if I want to withdraw. Boy, that is just not a good situation. See, now our air unit helped defend us there. So that's good. Rivers, terrain matters. Might want to pull. The problem is if I pull on the other side of this river, well, if I pull right here, yeah, but that breaks the Burma Road. See, now this is where supply trucks. We could be, if we had supply trucks, we could be hitting these guys with supply trucks, bumping up their supply, bumping up their effectiveness. I think I lost some units. And I wonder how aggressive. See, one thing I think the Allies deliver resources. That's good. Yep, India's 20th division shattered. India's Madras is a naval base in India. It was destroyed. Destroyed, we don't get nothing back. Shattered, some of it will go back into production and manpower. That ain't good. What do we got here? U.S. Low oil stockpile. Unit has low supply. How does our how does it have low supply? These guys got low supply though. We're gonna put them back into port, and uh, I don't know why I don't have them on repair. And move these guys out. Do some sub hunting. Partisan activity, partisan activity, partisan activity, partisan activity. All right, what do we got going on here now? India is in trouble. Well, no, undo that move. I can't undo it. Crap. The reason I want to do that move is that's jungle and that's plains. Man, oh man. 60%, 4 out of 10 strength, 5 out of 10. This guy's our stalwart right here. Yeah, these guys have been beat way down. That should be a strength of 4. That should be a strength of like 7 or 8, maybe even higher. That may be why he pulled back. Put this guy into there. And then next turn, we're going to move them. I'll probably put them in Australia, though. I don't know if I have a port. Okay, this guy, oh man, look at that. 28th Army. That's a strong army right there, at least for this front. Look at our supply. Weather, no weather. At least he's getting supply now. That's the good news is he's getting supply. Okay, 9 out of 30. Well, at least he's getting good. He's now getting at least a little bit of supply. Now, what you can do is if you get some Chinese units that, yeah, okay, man, I need this unit to do good, you can put them on priority. But right now I've got this guy on priority because he's in Changsha, which is, you're talking 10 production. You can look, if you watch right there, you can see the numbers. 10 production. It's a major 9, that 9 supply means it's a main supply point. I want to keep that and hold that. What do we got here? He's at 88, 77, 41. I don't want him to attack. Nope. 1-to-1 is it's very advantageous to the defender. You do not want to attack minimum 3-to-1. Minimum. I mean that unless you're desperate, you don't want to do 2-to-1. You want minimum 3-to-1. The Japanese sub moved, and I don't see where he went. And we didn't get any record of any convoy attacks. Probably, hopefully. And like I said, hopefully he he retreated. Man, still not there. We got some units to deploy. That the Dutch cruiser redeploys as a UK unit, and we're gonna put him. Actually, he can reach Australia this way though. Get him moving towards Australia. It's a light cruiser. Actually, it's not really a cruiser. It's a light cruiser. Okay, what else we got? We get the Valiant here in a couple turns, and then finally get some transports to start doing something. The U.S. gets nothing. Next turn, we'll get it'll be the 15th, and we'll get the 77th Division. You do not have to deploy supply trucks or any of the support units. Actually, you do have to, oh, we need that. The Waristan Division for India. We're going to put him, oh, right there. We're going to put him right by Rangoon. Look at that. That's already, look at, compare that to that attack value of 3. It's not really attack, it's a combat value. Compare that to some of them other units. That's a major unit right there. We might be able to hold Rangoon. That's great. Looking at looking at these two right here. In fact, we're gonna do a little bit of work here. We can see what he did last turn. Land combat or air. And the way this reads is, okay, the Axis was attacking. His second air division flew. In defense, my Indian Air Force air unit, it flew fighting his second air division. They each lost 2. Now that's not necessarily strength points because it might get converted to effectiveness losses. And then I'll take a drink here. And then his what is that? His 56th division is attacked the 13th Brigade right in this hex, and he lost in air. I lost 2. He lost 2 in land. He lost 1. I lost 1. Pretty even. Here, the Imperial Guards destroyed the Madras naval base, and you can see the bonuses we're getting. You can see the odds. See, he attacked 1-to-1, and you look, he lost 1. I didn't lose nothing. And every time you attack, you lose effectiveness. Now, the good news is, and this is one of the tactics you may want to think about when you're doing the Japanese against the Chinese, is when you attack a unit, that unit loses effectiveness. So here I've got, taken as an example, let's find a unit here. Well, this guy right here, no, he's not a good, not a good example. Well, I might not be able to find a good example, but right here, if he gets attacked, his effectiveness will go down. And that's effectiveness is one of the most important things that you can really control. Strength, that's just how much resources are they getting? How's your production doing? Do you have them prioritized or not? I'm zooming around here looking for where to go. Now I notice he's got a naval unit. That's a naval bomber right up there. A dive bomber. That makes me nervous. Well, I'm not going to move any of the India units. Let's go Chinese. The Communist China is looking like they're holding out okay. Now, sometimes if I can get him down here, I like to let the Communist Chinese guy relieve this so he can move south. But I want to hold this city. It's Yunnan. It's a major supply source. You can tell that by looking up there in the corner where it says supply 9. I have to have my cursor over it to do it, but you can see it right up there. That's kind of, in my opinion, that's not too realistic. Communist Chinese and Chinese forces still really did not get along. And the weather has turned, turned nice. See how's my effectiveness. See now here's a good example. He keeps attacking this unit. Its effectiveness is going to go down, and we're going to see if we can't. May not be able to. Costs too much to move him. 61, we're going to go on ahead and move him. See, I already went down to 59, but I wouldn't mind doing an attack against this guy and then just sweep him right up on there. That's what I'm saying. This guy right here, if I was an AI player, I'd scoot this guy up here to Canton. This is Hong Kong. Scoot him up to here to Canton, and I'd start moving this guy north. We're going to protect against that by putting that army right there. I wish these two guys could trade places. Okay, let's talk about HQs. HQs do a lot of different things. First off, if I had supply trucks, I could just hit this, put supply trucks to him, and he'd automatically dish them out. He increases supply within 5 movement points by +1, and he adds his combat values right here. Now, this is General Fai Ku Cheng, but we can change it. There's a but you look, there's nobody, ain't nobody worth changing. This guy, I think though, 425. We could put Chiang Kai-shek in charge at a cost of 5. We have 9. You just build up. In fact, we're going to do that. Put Chiang Kai-shek in charge, and he will add his bonus now to some of these units. See, the weather's turned nicer, which it takes more weather to move, which means supply lines get harder to keep. Well, the weather's turned good, so our supply is going to be better. And I still want these guys 76. Now you look right here. Well, we're gonna go right here, and I need a Marine unit. I don't want to use the garrison. He's still needing repaired. We're gonna go here. Second Marines. We have a specialty. Specialties are bonuses, um, specialties that you can give a unit. And land, air, and ships have different specialties. For land, we have tank destroyer. That's +3 tank, makes him more defensive. Engineer, you can see it right there, halves river penalty. Elite, boosted experience by 10%. Heavy artillery, -1 to enemy entrenchment. Infiltrate him, +5% to retreat. And winter combat means he's better, twice as good, basically in combat snow blitz. We're going to add the engineer to him, and I'll tell you why. It costs 100 points to do that. So we're now down to 9 points for the US. Now, the reason I did that is eventually this guy's going to get into here. And there's an airfield here, an airfield here, an airfield here. But if I wanted an airfield here, let's say, what I've got to do is the United States has to build an airfield. I've got to get a unit with an engineer unit right here, and then I could place an airfield right there. So I want a unit with engineering. The UK only has 50, and China, I doubt they even got even close to 36. We also have, and we're going to use this, we're going to use our first, we're going to create a communications intelligence unit. And what that does is that puts a unit that we're going to be able to place here at the end of March. It'll be our first turn in April. Now the United States, we've already got 105. So what the United States is going to do, we're going to try to break Japan's codes. It costs 60 points. Code breaking attempts were successful, so we're just going to go ahead and purchase a unit. And we'll see how those work. I'm sure it will be my next video. And that's it for movement. UK still not not going up much. We're trying to upkeep units. What are we upkeeping on? Now this is one complaint that some people have for the game. It really doesn't give you a lot of information. It tells you Hermes. That's what we're upkeeping on. Trying to repair the Hermes. United States, still massive amounts going towards upkeep. We got air units, land units. The United States it was getting ready to prepare for war, basically. So when war happened, it was not there. We're not going to change anything. Soviet Union. You see China, just Australia, still the same thing. Oil stockpiles moving up. This is India. No, that's Canada. Hey, we're going to get a supply truck here in a minute. This is Communist China. Communist China will purchase a supply truck. India, everything's going to upkeep. Same thing for New Zealand. Getting that oil stockpile up. We'll look at our convoys real quick. The UK could send out one more if it wanted to. But I don't think I'm going to because I need that oil stockpile up. United States' problem is merchant marines. They don't have any. And this is where production comes hard. I want to build some merchant marines because then I could get more supplies to New Zealand and Australia. I could even send it to India and the UK. They cost 100 points, cost 180 days. We've got 115, so I'm going to build us some. Probably might have built supply trucks, but we need to get that. That merchant marine number needs to go up. Right now, basically everything I have, everything the U.S. has is set to go towards upgrading. Or reinforcing, we're gonna back off a little to 198. That's still quite a bit. Try to get some of these numbers up. We need supply trucks. We need merchant marines. We need lots of stuff. All right. That's it. When we come back, Japan will get their March 15th turn, and then I'll get my March 15th turn. So you guys have a good day.